people are buying from people. They're not buying from PCH Technologies. We're not Pepsi. We're not Coke. We're not at that level. So I think that is a very valid point.
It was all that fear. I was just telling myself those stories.
Welcome to this episode of Sunny's Silver Linings. Sunny's guest today is Timothy Guim, President and CEO of PCH Technologies. In today's episode, they chat about the top strategies MSPs should focus on, advice for those looking to get speaking engagements and panel discussions at events, social media tactics, and so much more. And now, your host, the founder and CEO of IT by Design, Mr. Sunny Kaila. Over to you, Sunny.
Tim, welcome to the show. I'm truly excited about our conversation today because we have been talking about this for months. And today we are here to have that conversation. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sunny. I've been looking very forward to doing this formally. I know we've spoken at several shows that we have to get together and sit down and be part of your podcast. I'm looking very forward to our conversation today.
Yeah. And, so what I love about what you are doing at PCH Technologies is not too many MSP owners are doing that. You're very intentional about your brand, your marketing, how you are presenting yourself, your personal brand, your professional brand, and your team around you. You are very, very focused there, which is helping you grow. And we wanted to share what you have done in terms of marketing, in terms of your brand building with the rest of our peers. Sharing is caring, right? So you believe in that mantra and you're like, Sunny, no problem. I will share everything that I'm doing and where there's proven value, where stuff worked for me. And first of all, I truly appreciate that thinking. I appreciate that overall mindset where if something is working well for us and we're sharing with others and making that positive impact on our peers, and not too many people are doing it. So thank you for that, first of all.
You're welcome. And I definitely am trying to help just improve the MSP community in general in any way that I can, because there's a lot of responsibility that I think in our industry, especially around areas of cybersecurity, and the better we can reach business owners, organizations to protect themselves and getting that message out there. I think that's really important. I didn't feel that. Yeah, I think that's really an important aspect to think about.
Yeah, and it's people like you, Tim, where what you are doing is people like you that is making this channel, this ecosystem very vibrant. And we have seen the progress in the last few years, and everyone is rising together because the ecosystem is growing and is so vibrant, and a lot of even PE companies to a lot of the money coming into the channel is because the channel is doing well. So we are better together. That what we heard at DattoCon. And I think, as a channel, we are better together when we are all rising together, because more and more resources will show up and good, having enough resources for everyone to grow and thrive. So let's get into your thinking of building that brand, right? But before we actually go there, why don't you share a little bit in terms of your life journey, a quick summary, your life journey, so people that don't know you, a lot of people know you from the channel, but some people that don't know you, they get a perspective on your journey.
Sure, definitely. So when I started out in technology, I graduated Drexel University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, back in 1997. I was very technical in nature at the time. And when I grew up, I was always a hustler. I had a paper route, put my way through school. So when I graduated, I decided internet was hot, 1997. There's a lot of job opportunities, and I was able to pick up some customers through working with some people that I knew in the neighborhood, as well as my co-op experience at Drexel. And when I came out, I had a big decision to make. Do I work at a company, or do I go out on my own and decide to try to start my own business? So I obviously started my own business. I grew it over the years a lot through referrals because I had a very good technical background. Started at my parents' house. Then I actually, in my own home, I worked out there until 2005. Uh, then I purchased a commercial property and started expanding the business. I did an acquisition in 2008 that grew the business, but I still wasn't in sales and marketing. I was really focused on, technicians and technical ability. It was only until 2015 where we rebranded the company. Originally, it was PC Helpers was the name of the company. We rebranded to PCH Technologies, and that's when I really took a focus on growing the business through sales and marketing, because I always hesitant. I'm like, we're going to spend this money and it's not going to be worth it. It takes a long time for a return on investment. And what I did before I grew, I really focused on our people and our internal. The people we had in the company were very, very good, so that I knew that if I was successful, I could deliver on the results that I had. Now, fast forward to 2022, our sales and marketing efforts have definitely paid off, and we've been accelerating our growth significantly in the past 7 years or so.
Congratulations for that growth, especially in the recent years. I think it accelerated to a very new level. And yeah, so what I heard you say is that you started paying a lot more attention to brand since 2015.
2015, when we starting to rebrand, we rebranded the company to PCH Technologies, and we focused on basically targeting our market too. We decided to focus. What I did was I looked at all my customer base and figure out what were we good at, because it was just a shooting match. Somebody called me up, "Hey Tim, my friend's having a problem, business owner. Can you help him out?" I said, "Sure." And then I did that over the course of how many years, and I noticed that we had a lot of customers in the financial sector, the construction area, and the manufacturing. So I said, well, we're going to use that as the markets we're going to basically target in order to grow our business, because we have expertise in those areas already, the applications, the challenges that they're having. So we could build marketing around those three key areas. And that's how we kind of decided where we were looking at our market at that point in time.
Yeah. So now when it comes to like your ideas and strategies in terms of that personal professional brand building, so what are your top strategies that you're using that is producing a result that you would like to share with our peers? So yeah, if someone like me, as MSP owner, for example, I'm just taking an example, right? So there is an MSP owner who's listening to this, and they're like, "Oh, I want to do more in terms of my personal and professional brand building." Where they should start and what they should be focusing on as their top 3 strategies.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of wind it back a little bit. As far as like social media is a big part of what we do, and that's the main strategy I want to talk about today, and help me build my brand. That's kind of the foundation of it. And originally, if you went back to 2015, I was not big on social media and posting and doing these things, but that is a key spot that you need to look at. And then probably around 2017, 2018, we started to dip our hand into social media. We started promoting our PCH Technologies page on LinkedIn. I had my own brand, and we were kind of working through myself and our marketing company was kind of, okay, let's put content out there about PCH Technologies, and then I put some posts out there, and I got some okay response. But the thing that I noticed is that when I posted on my personal Timothy Guim page, I would get double or triple the views or the responses on those items. Again, when I started small, I would only get maybe 2 or 3 likes or whatever. But you know what? I saw maybe I would get 6 likes on my personal page compared to the company page. So we started doing social media, and we were doing okay with it, as far as that perspective goes. And I can talk about the areas that I want to kind of keep telling the story, Sunny, if that's okay.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Pre-pandemic, our company was focused. I would say we were doing a lot of event-based marketing in person. Was probably 70% of how we were generating revenue. 30% was digital. We were kind of fooling around with SEO and keywords a little bit and social media, but not really. Then obviously, when the pandemic hit, we had to shift our entire, marketing effort to digital. And that was when we really went all in on social media. We really dug in further with it. And one of the strategies, I'm going to talk about building personal brand for a second, was we decided to create a segment called Tuesday with Tim. I already started doing social media a little bit, so I have this way to have every Tuesday, I would talk something about cybersecurity related to the pandemic, about how you can protect your business more, even stuff about COVID or things that I was learning about from the Wall Street Journal, different areas to kind of educate people. And that was a great way for me to kind of be branded. I still have it till today, Tuesday with Tim. We run it every Tuesday. That's one thing, is building your own personal, like something you post regularly. It doesn't have to be once a week. It could be once a month, whatever what it is. But as long as you have something that you're constantly posting on. Second thing I would talk about is making sure that you post not just stuff about cybersecurity and things like that, but you have to kind of show yourself as a full person. Because honestly, I get more reactions and likes on things that I do that are related to company or some things like that kind of are building me I see me as a person, not just a cybersecurity area. And that lastly, I think on your company page, I think you need to have quality content that's informative for your business. That just builds your brand in general. So those are the three key things I think around social media would be important.
Yeah. So let's start with so LinkedIn is the place where I heard you spend a lot of time, right?
Yes.
LinkedIn, yeah, and because it's a business network, it's available to professionals for your individual profile, and you can create a company profile there. And another piece that I heard you say is that when you share something on your individual LinkedIn, that works better in terms of engagement, impact, and then the company, even though you're kind of that thread is there, that connective tissue is there between your personal LinkedIn and your company LinkedIn, but you are more focused on the personal LinkedIn so that the company side of the products are also kind of, there's some mapping there, right?
Correct.
Now, what are you doing with your LinkedIn that others should consider when it comes to creating content, sharing content? Because the big struggle is to create and share. People are, like, a C-level executives are very busy, and they normally, what I hear is, Sunny, I don't know how you do this. I don't know some people that are doing this on LinkedIn, how they are doing it. But I really, I have a lot of other things to do as a CEO, and I'm kind of occupied there. I have no time for this. So where can people start where they have like time challenge, but the time is limited? Then not that much time is required, but they can start building that discipline, building that habit of building the brand.
Yep. I had that same exact struggle. The consultant said, I want you to post one time per week. I said, I don't have time to post one time per week, but I've gotten very, very good at it. It's not that I can do it very quickly now. It's like you learn something and you can practice and get better at it. So if I'm at example, I was at DattoCon, I can take some pictures that I think that are kind of important or something that looks kind of fun. If I go to an event, like even for a networking event locally, a local chamber event, or I could be, do something on the weekend. Like I'll do a race. I'm into, different, running and things like that, and obstacle races. So I'll just take a picture of that. I try to take just a couple pictures and I try to capture the flavor of the event. Or if I go to like an event at night and there's a speaker there, I'll take note of something that I think is important. And I'll just take a picture and I'll just post on there, hey, it was great attending this such and such event. I learned this, that, and the picture speaks more than the words. I think it's a matter of just getting that discipline of just getting a couple pictures taken and then writing something small that would add some value. Like if I learn something, I try to share that in my Tuesday with Tim with people. But it's about taking a picture and taking it take you no more than 5 to 10 minutes to create a post, even shorter than that. And I can do it very quickly now, especially a very, very short post. Now I have some other lengthy posts that I'll create, which you could do in the future if I'm going to write something about cyber insurance, very specific to our clients, or something in industry that I think that should be there. Now those posts take a little bit of longer time, more thought leadership, but you can quickly show that you're out in the community, that you're involved in, your local community, the channel community. You have things that you like to do personally. So it kind of puts it all together to build, the brand together when you're looking at, especially if you can get yourself in a speaking engagement for a panel about cybersecurity with the local chamber, speaking to a manufacturer association, things like that. If you get a picture of that and you doing it, immediately you're elevating your personal credibility, by doing that as an expert in the cyber and the IT field. So I think that's also a very important part of this, is to build your personal brand. You're going to have to go out and speak and take it to the, if you really want to push it to the next level. But you can start just by taking pictures, going to events. That's how I started my journey with social media.
Yeah, so you made a really important point in terms of speaking engagements while you were sharing in terms of how people can start, where limitation is time, where limitation is resources. And so we're going to get into that. What you heard, what I heard you say is that when resources are limited, you can start small and you can use your existing calendar activities. You gave a couple of examples. DarrowCon, you were there, right? You're already there. It's really now reminding yourself to take some pictures, maybe create some like a video clip or something, and then making it a little bit fun and associating that with some education that your end customer can get something out of it, right? So you're not adding an activity. It's just you're using your activities, being intentional about doing something with your brand, and you're using your existing activities to record and share and make it a little bit more fun and educational and association with probably what you do, right, with your products. And that's beautiful, because that's what a lot of people will share as their obstacle, as their okay, this is why they're not doing it. But I think you made a great point that you don't have to do anything additional. You can just use your existing activities and then share that with the world, but make it a little bit more fun and educational, whatever you can do there. And then you also mentioned panel discussions. And we're going to get into that. How did you go about getting those speaking engagements? But that's another piece that is great, that when you have that, you're already being a thought leader. You're using that time. Now it's just recording that activity and sharing, because now education is not only in that room, it's going beyond that room with this the technology and the tool called LinkedIn, right? Now, so let's get into the speaking engagement. How did you go about getting those engagements? Like, people will obstacle again, uncertainty again, whenever you start a new possibility. Like in this case, I'm seeing this as a new capability, new possibility that MSP will have to build. So the obstacle there would be that, hey, I don't get these speaking engagements. I don't get the invitations. Tim, what are you talking about, man? You are famous. You are getting all these invitations. I don't. So what's your advice for them?
So first, I'm going to be very honest with you. So when I first started social media, my excuse was time, which was the case. But my real underlying that is I was very uncomfortable putting myself out there and say, oh, here's Tim doing this or doing that. I was uncomfortable the posting in the posting in general. Yeah. I've gotten way past that. I saw results. So that was one of my obstacles that you have, and don't let that be your obstacle. You're going to be uncomfortable when you're growing. Second, that leads me into speaking engagements. I started out speaking at very small, local chamber events, but I had to seek that out. I had to go out and say, hey, I would want to talk to your chamber about, talking about cybersecurity, how to protect your business. So I went and seeked out these different opportunities. I had an opportunity to speak with a manufacturing association that basically was one of my clients was a part of. And they said, Tim, do you think, we really want to talk about cybersecurity? You want to do that. I've seen you do a lot on LinkedIn. So we thought, you would be a good person to do that. So they saw my LinkedIn, and that's what kind of pushed me over the edge to do that. And most recently, speaking at DataCon was definitely a highlight for me for this year. So that's probably one of the most highest profile events, kind of known that I've done. But I had an opportunity to speak, a big partnership with Datto. I was in touch with people there and saying, hey, I wanted to put my hat in the ring, and I put together what the value that I could bring, and they were able to select me as a speaker. But it took me actively engage and wanting that, and now I will get it. Now I get more people coming to me, but you have to go out and get it yourself. Nobody's going to say, if you're not, well known, and I wasn't well known, I'm still not really well known, but in comparison where I was, 7 years ago, I have more opportunities now. That I have the credibility after speaking at these different places that now I'm seen more of as a thought leader and things like that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So what I heard you say is that like local chamber to local events, right? So a lot of business owners, their job actually, if they're not doing it, then that's another problem. But our job as leaders of the company is to be out there, networking, right? Of creating new partnerships, creating new collaborations. And when we are doing that through local chambers, other business events, it could be MSP industry, it could be non-MSP industry, wherever our clients are, right? So if I'm a MSP focused on law firms, like maybe PC Law or some other tools. I remember PC Law back in the days when I was a lot of big technician. But there could be like those software companies that are being used, software that is being used, platforms that are being used in that particular vertical. People are getting together. So going there, like as a attendee, as a speaker, so you already have stuff going on, and you can just be intentional about going out there and being that thought leader. And it will start small, but as you said earlier during our prep call as well, that small changes every day adds up. Like for you, you were at one level when you started, and where you are right now in terms of people knowing you, people know that you do thought leadership, and that invitation, I mean, number of invitations will continue to go up. So we all have to, and similar story with me and Tim is because of English being my second language, and I was always like, like my like that the obstacle that I had was more not only I'm more of an introvert by nature, that I didn't want to get on a stage and speak, and public speaking was not something that was natural for me. And the second thing that was like maybe a barrier for me, and it was just mental barrier. It was not a barrier. At that time, I thought it was a barrier, was that, okay, people are going to see me speaking with my accent, what if I say something incorrect, grammatically incorrect because of English being my second it was all that fear. I was just telling myself those stories. But when I took that initiative in 2020 just to be there for our partners during COVID, during scary time, to share what I was learning through webinars, through podcast recording, that now I have done 300 plus podcasts. I have done a lot of channel speaking engagements. I have done a lot of speaking engagements locally with my chamber. So why I'm sharing this with a lot of pride is that it's possible. It can be done, right? You have done it. I have done it as technical background people, and MSP owners where their mental barrier is that, I don't know too many people, or this is not my thing. It's important that we all do it. And it is just kind of taking that baby step or moving towards our brand building. Because if you're building a business, you do need to build your brand. And brand will support the sales plan and everything else, and including talent plan as well. Now, another piece that I normally hear as a challenge from MSPs. So one normally was, the first two that we discussed, I don't have time. I don't have the public speaking experience. I don't have this. But one another barrier is I don't have a team member. Hey, Sunny, you have probably marketing team or social media team where you record it, you give it to them. Hey, Tim, you have a good team around you. So where did you start? Like when you were doing it, of course, as leaders, we will not be kind of doing everything from recording, editing, sharing, social media posting. You have built a good team around you, but I'm sure that when you started, it was not the case. So for those where the barrier is not having a team member around them, who can they hire, where they can start? Should they start with a social media assistant, marketing assistant, or just use an agency? What is your advice for them?
It's a very good question. So, yeah, our team is much larger now, and this is going to help us to basically to grow our business. So, how we started was we hired a MSP specific company. It was called Tri Digital at the time that helped us with our rebrand efforts. We went through, worked with them for a while, and what I did was I hired one person to work with me that had some younger person that had some background in basically in sales and in customer service, and her and I worked hand in hand for close to 3 to 4 years, and we were doing everything between marketing, account management, new business. And what I did was I invested my time into training her the way that we did things. And she brought things to the table as far as new ideas, as far as how to do social media, things that I was not strong in. And it was like, we was crazy. I'm saying it's not easy to do this. So you have to be, if you're going to grow and scale your business, you don't have a rich uncle that's going to give you as much money as you want to do it, so, but it's going to take bootstrapping. So I had two people we were doing everything for the longest time. Then we brought an account manager. Then we brought a marketing person on, my current marketing coordinator. So he handed off the marketing duties because that really was, enough. So we focused on, she was focused on new business and account management. Then shortly after we brought an account manager on, and then we shifted the account manager on. And then we ended up doing just fully on, new business. She moved on to a different opportunity. I brought somebody in for new business. And now we have the team we currently have in place. We have a marketing coordinator, two people focused on new business, and an account manager at this point in time. But it was not easy. And I had to my job was building. The one thing I said earlier was I had my operations in line first. So my main focus it still is a high percentage, not as much as it was previously, but I was focused on growing on sales and marketing. And the thing I think the advice you need to do is you need to spend time, go on sales calls. You have to spend all this time. You can't just let them loose and do what they need to do. You need to take your time, how you sell, how you sell your product. You have to take a lot of time in mentoring that first salesperson and marketing person to work together if you're starting fresh in order to be successful. If you're starting with basically with nothing. That's how we were successful, and it put us in a position to continually grow the business over time. One thing too I like about social media is basically it's free advertising at the end of the day. So it's not going to cost, besides your investment, a little bit of your time. And as you said too, it's just an add-on activity. You're already there. You got to take a couple more pictures and be intentional about it. So I really like that aspect of it. I never thought of it that way, but it's really not that much of an additional lift to use LinkedIn and social media to your advantage.
Yeah, that's so awesome, Tim. So, I mean, this is great stuff. And, leaders normally will talk about always, great leaders, purpose to people, to products, right? That alignment of purpose, people, product. And once you have that in alignment, your product is very clear, then you got to make sure that people know about that product. And now, so the fourth P I'm adding there, Tim, from you is personal brand. Okay, so associating that personal brand with the product that you have. So rather than looking at three P's every day, start looking at fourth P, which is personal brand. And that personal brand building, the best way that you shared with us today is to use the professional network called LinkedIn. And of course, you can use as many social media platforms as you can. You can multi-purpose that content when you use that content on various platforms that you're creating. But you can start small. You already have existing activities that are going on, and you have this great technology with you all the time. You don't need a videographer or photographer with you. And selfies are so awesome when you take selfies. Just take some selfies at these trade shows that you go to, create some video clips when you're having fun with your peers and thought leaders in the industry that you serve, and then just share that with your EA, with your admin, whoever you have. If you don't have the social media person, teach them how to post. I mean, a lot of people already, I mean, nowadays you don't have to actually teach people. People know how to post. All you have to do is send it through Teams or whatever channel you used with your team members so that they can post what you are creating. And start simple. Authentic content without editing actually even works better, right? So if you think I don't have someone professional to edit this, put some caption on it, it's okay. Just start doing something and you will continually improve that. So time should not be a limitation. But so using LinkedIn, using already time that you are using for your kind of for your activities to go out there, use that same time to share. And the last but not the least is even if so you started with a very entry level social media person, so have like a social media intern if you don't have a big budget, or just to have your EA or admin or someone, operations manager, office manager, someone who can share that. And then slowly you can build upon that. But one thing is very clear is that if you don't have your personal brand behind your professional brand, it's a struggle. You're working way too hard than you have to, right? And as a leader, if you can put that personal brand behind your product, your professional brand, then sales problem can be solved. As Gary Vee said last year at our Build It conference, that sales is a bad marketing, right? So a lot of MSPs are too focused on fixing their sales funnel, sales process. They think sales process playbook is going to fix it. But it's really, but the missing piece is the marketing piece. You got to fix your marketing first so that you can bring in salespeople to have a process with the process that works for them, and your brand is behind that sales process. And that's where those people, otherwise, even a great salespeople can fail if you don't have the brand behind them, you don't have the marketing behind them. And that's where there is a gridlock, like in Times Square, that which one to move first, because everyone is stuck because it's a gridlock, right? So the problem that what to fix next, as per our keynote speaker this year, I believe is marketing. If your revenue is what you want to fix for your win wheel in the business, then fix your marketing first, and it's much easier than what it kind of sounds like. That you can start small, and nowadays we have access to great technology to do that. And one last question I have, this is more, is there any vertical that you're focusing on in terms of your end customer as a MSP, or few verticals that you focus on?
We have three verticals. I want to just go back real quick before I answer the question. I was at Build It IT when Gary Vee was there, and one thing that I took away, and he kind of validated this, that our size companies, people are buying from people. They're not buying from PCH Technologies. We're not Pepsi. We're not Coke. We're not at that level. So I think that is a very valid point. And the personal brand matters, because if you look at my LinkedIn personal brand, how much more engagement I get versus my company brand. So that's why I'm saying this definitely does work, and there's no question about it. As far as that, and that was a very good validation, and the things that I was kind of trying and doing. Now I follow Gary Vee very closely on a lot of things he's doing, and I agree with you that you need to have marketing in place so that leads will come in and your sales opportunities are much better. So to get to your question that you did ask me, was we focus on construction, manufacturing, and financial. Those are the three that we have. And the reason why is construction is typically a much shorter sales cycle. In financial industry, it's a little bit longer. A local bank's not going to turn the keys over to Tim Guim just because he's on social media. So it takes some time. Manufacturer also a little bit shorter cycle as well. But those are great clients once you get into those financial clients and things like that. So that's why we have the three different verticals,
Yes.
that we felt were important.
Yeah, that's awesome, Tim. So this is that's for, so if there's someone local business looking for a trusted technology solution provider, then Tim, you are doing some great stuff in the Philadelphia market. And yeah, so if there's anyone looking for a technology company, highly recommended name. And
we're also in South Florida too. We're also South Florida. Don't forget about that. So
South
we have
Florida,
South Florida.
yes,
We have South Florida too. We have South Florida off because everybody's leaving. Everybody's leaving here and going to Florida in this area. So we opened
yes.
an office in South Florida. So we're in Fort Lauderdale. So
Oh,
anybody down
nice,
there too as well who's listening in the Florida area.
awesome,
Had to get
awesome.
that.
Yeah,
Had to get that in there.
and I know you cover South Jersey side as well. So people in South Jersey, people in Philadelphia, people in Florida, if you're looking for a technology solution provider, Tim is the guy that I can put my stamp on his brand, his product, his overall commitment to world-class delivery. And in terms of culture, so people that are listening to us, Tim, and if they're looking for any opportunity, I want them to know what culture looks like at PCH. Can you summarize culture for me?
So for PCH Technologies, the difference in how we deliver is our people, and we want to have the best people working here. We have a culture of accountability. We're very flexible with our team members, working remote, working in office. Family is very important for us in order to make sure that you can be at your family events. We're also, very reasonable. We have a very good benefit package. It's not about the money. It's about how we train everybody. We're always looking at the newest technologies. We have plans in place for you to grow with the company. Every year we sit down and we look at the company goals and we have each person individually. How are you going to help us reach the goal this year? And how are you going to continue to grow with the company? So it's our people come first. Our team members and customers are very close second, but we have to take care of our team first in order to deliver great quality service to our clients.
Okay. So core values are mainly, what I'm hearing is like accountability and team first.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So thank you, Tim. So glad that you were here to share that wisdom, that experience that you have gained over years and built a really good brand in a very short period of time. So we appreciate you sharing with the rest of the industry, and you have an awesome rest of the day.
You too. Thank you, Sunny. I really appreciate it.